So good afternoon and welcome everybody to this online technology meeting on photonics technologies for manufacturing of semiconductor lasers. This will be the last online meetings before summertime. And the idea to be here today is to discuss about different technologies that can be used in the manufacturing of semiconductor lasers. So the initial goal was to understand what is happening or what is new in terms of new coatings possibilities, assembly, precision movement, different solutions regarding adhesives as well, and to understand from a couple of manufacturers how is the manufacturing process nowadays and perhaps how to interact with the rest of the community in the future. So this is why we assembled this meeting with the goal of discussing about all the new developments and the remaining challenges and perhaps find collaborations between the participants here. Just for the people outside of the consortium, a few words about EPIC. We are a consortium of more than 100 companies. Sorry, there is some noise around. We are a consortium of more than 100 companies related with photonics technologies. We cover all the different topics that can be interesting in this field for quantum technologies, photonic integrated circuits, AR, VR, and of course, lasers. We take the opportunity today to discuss about manufacturing of different semiconductor lasers. We offer these benefits. You see in this slide a short summary of all the benefits that we offer to our members. So we offer access to different market reports prepared by experts in different fields. There is, in fact, one market report about semiconductor lasers with a short summary available in the EPIC website. We support also different activities, more operational related with human resources, with investment, with sustainability as well, where we have work groups and where the members can exchange advices and experiences and grow together. And then we have this technological support and networking, like today, where we discuss about new technologies and we have the room for networking. So you can know who is here in the room interested in this topic. And afterwards, you can probably find a room for discussion and find new opportunities of collaboration. I mentioned that this is the last online meeting before summertime in terms of technology. We will have another one in July, but more about new product releases, so new solutions from our members. And we will be back in September with more technology meetings. So we will cover, as you see, a quite big variety of topics. So from connectors to communications for space. We will have a special meeting where some members will discuss about laser processing based on scanners from a book they wrote. We will talk about fibers for medical applications, biomedical imaging, and also the application of lasers in defense. We will have a specific online meeting to discuss about this in October. And regarding the physical meetings, we will come back in September. We will be in China in the COAE, also in the ECOC in Malaga, and we will be in W3 Fair in Jena. And we will organize different events related with networking, but also tech sessions and opportunities of presentations, and also some activities related with careers and also how to attract young talent. So if you're interested and if you are attending any of these exhibitions and conferences, please go to our website and you will see what's happening there and you can register to participate in one of our events. I'm going to the meeting where we have today because we have a tight schedule already with 7 speakers. And as I mentioned, the idea was to cover all these different technologies from coatings, adhesives, positioning, all these different requirements regarding own manufacturing and specific developments. And this is the list of companies that were interested in this meeting, the registrations we had in the typical supply chain chain slide that we prepare for every meeting. You can see a good combination of users, integrated, but also manufacturers of lasers, also developing materials, and of course, contract manufacturers and foundry that are interested in understanding which are these new solutions and that could be interesting for the future in terms of applying in their facilities to develop semiconductor lasers or other type of semiconductor products as well. And we can go already to the agenda. So you have here the list of speakers. As I mentioned, we have 7 companies. Today we'll have presentations by Buhler, by DELO, 35 Live, Nokia, Bell Labs, Comtech, Modulite, Percipio, Photonics, and also Smart Act. And the idea is that we will start now with the first presentation. So it's a pleasure to have Daniel Pereira. He's a sales manager for semiconductor market segment there at Buhler, and he's going to talk about how to optimize AR, HR coatings for edge-emitting lasers. So Daniel, the floor is yours. You can start sharing your screen. We will have time after each presentation for question and answers. So I will encourage you to raise your hand and use also this chat box to make your questions. But now it's time for the Daniel's presentation. So you can share your screen.
Yeah, will do. Just 1 second. All right. So I believe you see the presentation now. In
Now
the presentation mode as well?
Yeah, Daniel, everything good.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Daniel Pereira. I'm a technical sales manager for the semiconductor market segment at Buhler. And today I'm coming to focus a little bit on our side for the coatings for indium phosphide edge-emitting lasers. But before I start, a little bit about the company itself. So Leibold Optics, or Buhler Leibold Optics, we are part of the same company, Buhler being the mother company and Leibold Optics the subsidiary. We are a vacuum coating company, so we provide to our customer base solutions for optical coatings on various types of substrates, meaning we might have a large area, a small area, flexible substrate, a lens, a wafer, and we give functionalization of that substrate with an optical coating. Then depending on the type of application and depending on the type of target customer, we have a wide range of products in our product portfolio, either dedicated for each specific market or that are shared across different market segments. Leibold Optics, or Buhler, is a Swiss company, and Leibold Optics has its headquarters in Alzenau, Germany, so not far from Frankfurt. We have about 300 million Swiss francs of turnover last year, so the Leibold Optics Group. We are more than 600 field employees worldwide with more than 3,000 systems installed, and we always dedicate about 7% of our turnover back into innovation, which means either new machines, new coating processes, new developments, and so on and so forth. We have 3 application centers, one where I'm from, in Germany, one in Raleigh, North Carolina, and another one in Beijing, China. I come specifically from the market segment semiconductor, and there the focus is on embedding optics on a wafer level. So we have to basically combine these 2 worlds, the worlds of optics with the worlds of semiconductor, meaning giving high-end optics, but also providing all the necessary handling automations, interfaces to the different customer bases. You can see here on this slide, on the right-hand side, we have our product portfolio, and on the left-hand side, our application portfolio. So we have solutions for sputtering, evaporation, atomic layer deposition on the coating side, and on the flattening or trimming side, we have an ion beam trimming. Today, the focus is on what we call our subgroup lighting and display, because we're focusing more on evaporation and ion beam sputtering for the application of edge-emitting lasers. So we're talking more about the lasing field. And I specifically chose the topic of indium phosphide edge-emitting lasers because indium phosphide is quite popular in today's day for telecommunications applications, but also is getting a lot of momentum for applications in AI and photonic integrated circuits. And this is because its main wavelength range is within the infrared, where many applications are actually being used for. Being a coating company, here today I want to present our side of the indium phosphide coating. And here I mainly speak about two sides of the edge-emitting lasers. One where we're coating basically reflectors on one side, or high reflectivity coatings, and another one anti-reflective coatings on the other side. The idea being we have reflection of the lasing being, or the laser light that being generated on one side, and then we have a high outcoupling of the laser light from the edge-emitting laser. What is important here? We need to think about, when we're focusing on the coatings themselves, that each of, if we're talking about a specific wavelength, that each side will have the highest performance on their own. Meaning, the mirror on the left hand side will have a high reflectivity, and the anti-reflective coating on the right hand side will have a very low reflectivity. Meaning, we need to be careful that on the target wavelength we are achieving this in this performance. We also need to think about that we need to have high laser damage threshold, meaning the coatings need to withstand a lot of laser power, and also high laser outcoupling. So the output of the laser needs to be, or the damage threshold for the output needs to be very high on the anti-reflective coating. Then everything else is common on both sides. So we need low absorption to avoid heating on the edge-emitting laser. We need low roughness to have low scattering. High repeatability, meaning we need to have basically always the performance within the same range. No damage on the indium phosphide. Indium phosphide is a material that is very prone to damage, so it's very important that this layer, or these layers are being built directly on the indium phosphide, do not damage the material itself. And of course, because we're talking about coatings, we need to have a good adhesion. So today, the idea is to give an example on the anti-reflective coating, but both technologies that I'm going to present are good for both sides of the coating. So just the anti-reflective coating is just an example for that would represent both sides. I'm focusing today on two main machines. The first one being our Cyrus Pro. The Cyrus Pro is an e-beam evaporator that is modular from a concept point of view, meaning we can have multiple chamber sizes and multiple types of sources that can be installed for a wide range of coating processes, meaning we can have different types of technologies embedded. We can have different number of sources, different number substrate fixings, all about optimizing throughput, optimizing layout, optimizing performance. We also have, specifically for this kind of application, a flipping mechanism that can allow coating of AR and HR within one coating run, so without having to break the vacuum. The second machine that I'm going to focus on is the IBS, or ion beam sputtering. Here we can coat substrates up to 600 millimeters. We can have various substrate holder possibilities. We have a movable target tower, meaning we can make multiple materials in one round. And we use an RF sputter and an assist source to not only build the layers, but also have increased density on the layers. And we have an integrated load lock for optimizing the throughput. What is important as well for this kind of application, so for indium phosphide and AR and HR coatings, is on monitoring. Monitoring is an extremely important step because it allows the reliability of the process. We know that 1 nanometer more and 1 nanometer less within the target wavelength will have an effect on the performance of the laser. So optical monitoring system will allow that the runs will be very similar, so within the run and then run to run and batch to batch. And first, starting with an example of a performance via an evaporator, so a Cyrus Pro. You see here on the right-hand side our reflectance plot on the 1550 nanometers. And if I zoom in here on the target wavelength, so to 1550, this thinking about that we're talking about 3 runs that have been done consecutively, and then the performance overlapped. We have achieved here a spectral coating reflectance below 0.05%. More importantly, repeatability within below 0.01% on the target wavelength across these 3 runs. We have thickness uniformity on the fixture below 1% within the run and then run to run. This, of course, being optically monitored. So as mentioned before, it's very important. And then finally, we have done this with a very simple 3-layer design with 3 different materials, but many designs can be implemented, more complex and less complex. It's basically the needs of the customer that we try to reflect. Second, we go to the IBS, and here we talk about 2 different runs. We're talking about 1310 nanometer, so another important wavelength, and we're comparing here the performance of our anti-reflective coating at this wavelength, and we try to highlight here different other aspects that the IBS can offer that in comparison to the Cyrus Pro. We're talking about here spectral reflectance below 0.07%, reflectivity again, or spectral repeatability below 0.01%, a thickness uniformity even higher than the Cyrus Pro, so we're here below plus minus 0.25% within the run and run-to-run. Again, optical monitoring is extremely important to allow this repeatability and reliability. And then finally, we're talking about a design with multi-layers of silicon oxide and tantalum pentoxide with a roughness below 0.5 nanometers. And here, this roughness is represented on a single layer basis. So if we have a very low rough film, we will have a very low roughness filter as well. So just to finalize and to compare the 2 technologies in terms of their usability for this target application. So we have here, we compare here both sides. So the Cyrus Pro is the solution. So the one on the left-hand side with the evaporator is the solution for the lowest cost per piece, the highest adaptability and customizability, because it's basically, we can customize it accordingly to what the customer needs. We can make a machine that is capable of doing mass production, but also think about R&D, for example. We have a lot of material flexibility because if it can be evaporated, we can use it. We can achieve layers with low scattering and low absorption, which is also very important for the performance of the indium phosphide. And something very important is the high laser power performance. So basically, we can have low, I didn't go through it in detail, but LIDT, laser-induced damage threshold, is also important. So we have also here some performance that is important. Then we go to the IBS. The IBS is really the solution for the highest thickness uniformity. So extremely high uniformity can be achieved with this technology. Highest film density as well because of the assist source that we are using. Because we have extremely low roughness, we will also have low scattering and low absorption. And here, really, if the purpose is to achieve the good LIDT, this is the machine to go for, all because of all the other aspects that I've mentioned. So this is it for my side. Thank you very much for your attention. Happy to answer any questions. And if you're curious about how big can a machine be, that's me. That's one of our machines. Thank you very much. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free.
Thank you very much, Daniel. So as mentioned, we have time for questions. So you can raise your hand and make the question directly to Daniel. If not, you can also use the chat box to make any question. Yeah, we have a question from Mark from Exosense. You're muted now, Mark, so you need to...
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, Mark.
Yeah.
Hello. Thank you very much, Daniel. I have just a question. Do you have in situ characterization system in order to know the thickness of and the quality of what you are putting on it, such as, I don't know, ellipsometry, spectral ellipsometry, or stuff like that?
So we do the standard with the evaporator, for example. We do the standard quartz crystal monitoring to check to measure the thickness, but we also have what I was mentioning regarding optical monitoring system. So I didn't go into the details of it, but the idea is that we are doing in situ monitoring of the layer that is being grown. Meaning, as we have changes in the refractive index and extinction coefficient during the coating process, and this optical monitoring system is actually measuring this. So that's why it's a very, very important aspect in the indium phosphide world, because reliability within the target wavelength is extremely important. So yes, to answer your question, yes, we have this OMS that we can integrate.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mark. Any other question or comment? I have perhaps a question that is more the
Yes,
typical
please.
epic question. So we normally ask the speakers to say, what can you show? What can you do for the others? What can the other members do for you, for Buhler as well?
Yeah. So we're actually within the Cyrus Pro technology, we're very well established. So we know exactly, we have a very wide customer range. The IBS we see more as something that is growing and something that is actually getting more attention to. But we are looking for partners, and we're looking for people who would actually be willing to cooperate with us to understand what we need to do with our machine and how we need to adapt our machine towards certain aspects of the technology. So mainly, if within the EPIC group there is someone or a company that can support us in understanding the needs of the market with an IBS technology, this would be great.
Okay, we also have a question from YouTube that is quite long. Because there is somebody mentioning that they are building a hybrid chip design from them, but he's asking more for PDK, for chip design. If you provide a stable PDK of waveguide also for converted ADC for optical to digital converter. It's a little bit of mix because it's not perhaps written in the best way, but it's talking about the PDKs.
I would say maybe like we can do some coatings on demand if needed, but of course we need to evaluate those case by case. So my suggestion is whoever's asking this question to just enter in contact. It will have my email address on the slides.
Yeah.
Or so you can ask someone from EPIC, and they can be shared, and I'm happy to discuss.
Yeah. Good. Very good. Any other question or comment from the audience today? Well, if not, thank you very much, Daniel, for the time. As mentioned, you can put your email now in the chat because Daniel cannot be until the end of the meeting today. So any other question that you can have in your mind, you can write an email and be in contact with him.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
And we can go now to our next speaker. So we move from coating to adhesives, and it's a pleasure now to have Thomas Ludwig. He's application field specialist at the company DELO, and he's going to talk about low outgassing adhesives for bonding optics in diode lasers. So Thomas, I see you are already sharing. So the floor is yours.
Yes, perfect. Thank you very much for the kind introduction, and also thanks for the possibility to give this presentation here. So today I would like to talk about a topic what is maybe not the first thing when you think about laser manufacturing. My presentation today is about adhesives for especially bonding optics in diode lasers or semiconductor lasers. So before we start with the technical content, I just would like to introduce myself and my company first. So my name is Thomas Ludwig. I'm working in product management department at DELO. DELO is a family-owned company founded in 1961. We are located in Windach, Germany. It is very close to Munich, and we are producing high-tech adhesives, especially for the consumer, semicon, and automotive industries. So our adhesive can be found in sensors, e-motors, batteries, and so on. And in the last fiscal year, we achieved a revenue of 264 million euros. And at the moment, we have approximately 1,200 employees worldwide. So let's jump into the technical content. What you can see here is a design of a diode laser that is used for pumping fiber lasers, for example. And as you can see, in these lasers are many optics integrated, and that optics needs to be bonded to the housing. Our adhesive in this illustration is highlighted in this kind of magenta color. And we have many lenses inside these lasers, like the SAC lens, FAC lens, prisms, focus lenses, and so on. We also have an adhesive application for sealing the housing to avoid contaminations inside the laser. And we also have adhesives for fixing the optical fiber where the output beam is coupled into. but today's presentation is more on the optics side. Let's have a look on the requirements. So the requirements in the laser industry are really tough, and I can say that all our adhesives meet this really tough requirements, and the requirements are extremely low outgassing behavior to avoid contaminations on the optics coming from the adhesives. We need a low and predictable shrinkage behavior because the optics needs to stay in their perfect position for a long time. Also after reliability tests, we need the active alignment ability, more on that in a slide later. And we also need high bonding strength and reliability because that is the main task of an adhesive. And for automated processes, we need a fast light fixation time and also the ability for fast dispensing. When we talk about optical components in the laser field, our adhesives are designed for two sections. On the one hand, we have the extremely small and thin FAC lens, as you can see in that picture. And on the other hand, we have the bigger optical components like the mirrors or the SAC lens or prisms. And our adhesives are divided into the two sections. In the next slide, we can have a detailed look into FAC lens bonding. So the FAC lens corrects the beam in the fast axis of the laser chip. We do the bonding process here with the active alignment process with dual curing adhesives. So let me quickly explain the process. So it works as follows. In the first step, we dispense the adhesive to the substrate, in that case, the laser chip, and then we join the lens into the liquid adhesive. Then we switch on the laser, and with the help of the gripper, we move the lens until the beam is in its perfect position, and then we do a light fixation step. And at this stage, the lens is fixed, and that the bonding force is it's sufficient for further process steps, but the adhesive is not completely cured at this stage, and that happens in the heat curing step. That's why we called our adhesive dual curing adhesives. And maybe there comes one question up: why using dual curing adhesives? That brings some advantages with it. So we can reach faster light fixation times than with pure light curing adhesives due to the chemical formulation. And that's crucial because the light fixation time is part of your production line and of your cycle time and not the heat curing step. So the heat curing step can happen offside of your production line. You can put more than 100 lasers into one oven, but crucial is the light fixation time, and that time needs to be extremely fast. We also have the possibility to cure shadow zones. In the area of the chips and the FAC lenses, it is extremely narrow that we have shadow zones where light cannot shine through. And there the heat curing step will help us to cure the adhesive completely. And we also can increase the glass transition temperature due to the heat curing step. Glass transition temperature is the temperature where the adhesive becomes a little bit softer, and the higher the temperature is, the better it is. And we can reach higher values here due to the last heat curing step. We have the possibility to cure at 80 degrees, which is a main requirement of many of our customers. Let's have a look on the other bigger optical components like mirrors and SAC lenses. Here we can use pure light curing adhesives, and we can say the requirements are not that tough in comparison to the FAC lens bonding because the lenses are not that close to the EL chip or the laser chips in general. We do not have that big heat development. And in general, we can say the components are bigger and we have a little bit more space. We do not have shadow zones, but if necessary, it is also possible to use the dual curing adhesive solutions from the slide before here for that application. I already mentioned that the outgassing behavior is extremely important in the laser field, and DELO has an interesting approach to measure the outgassing. With this test setup, we determine the total outgassing and the condensable outgassing, and that works as follows. So we have a test setup with a heated plate and an adhesive chamber or a sample chamber. And at that sample chamber, an adhesive specimen is placed, and on the top we have a cooled plate with an aluminum foil or a glass mirror on the top. And during curing, the outgassing happens, and we do a weight measurement of the adhesive specimen before testing and after testing. And the difference between the weight corresponds to the total outgassing. And we also do a weight measurement of the glass mirror before testing and after testing, and that difference corresponds to the condensable outgassing. Here you can see 4 example products. The products are common in the laser field. The first 3 are dual curing solutions, and the last one is a light curing solution. And as you can see, the condensable outgassing is almost 0 at all adhesives, and the the total outgassing is also extremely minor. So at the highest, just 0.07% change in mass, which is a really great performance. And in addition to that, all our products for the laser application have passed the NASA outgassing test, which is an external, well-established testing setup just to emphasize our great outgassing performance. Now we come to the last slide. Let's talk about a short summary. So DELO's goal is to have strong partnerships along the whole supply chain. And that brings us to the common epic question: what can DELO do for you? So we can provide you with high-tech adhesives for bonding optics and laser systems. We also can produce customized adhesive formulations tailored precisely to your requirements. And we also can conduct trials for you with our in-house testing capabilities. What can you do for DELO? So you can provide us with information on your manufacturing processes in general and your requirements on the adhesive. You can tell us about new laser trends you're working on to start an early adhesive development together. And you also can conduct tests using our adhesives and give us feedback. And yeah, all I have to say in the end is let's approach your application together. Thank you very much for your attention. Here you can see my email address, so you can contact me anytime when you have any questions. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Thomas. So time for questions, and we already have a question from Jens from BWT.
I hope you hear me.
Yeah, we hear you, Jens.
It's a very, very interesting presentation, and I especially like your outgassing test setup. What I'm wondering or asking you, how does your adhesive, especially for FAC, SAC, perform on higher energetic wavelengths like 405, 445 nanometer? Because these wavelengths tend to decompose the materials of the adhesive, at least in some cases, as we see. Do you have any experience on that? Or could you even think about adding or imagine adding this wavelengths in your test chamber and see what happens?
Okay, so from my understanding, we didn't have done this yet, but I can also have a look on my data space. So you mean to cure the adhesive at a other wavelength than normally, right? And measure
Curing can take or should take place as you know it, as you do it. But over lifetime, over operational time, there is certain decomposition happening if you run the adhesive with, let's say, more aggressive, more energetic wavelengths, like the blue or close to UV wavelengths. So that's the problem. And then, for example, if you use FAC, you see condensation or contamination on the facet on the wonderful IBS coatings that we just heard before, for example. So you don't win much if you have this kind of condensation afterwards during operation time.
So we do not have data on that yet, but that's definitely a thing that we can measure theoretically. So maybe we should get in contact by email. So if you're interested
you're very welcome to contact me, or I do it the way I tried it a few years ago already.
Okay.
It was similar. Seems to be interesting, but nobody really works hard on it. It's still a little bit an open issue, I think, in the industry.
I will type my email address into the chat, and I'm
Thank you very much
for your
appreciate
thank you.
Good, thank you, Jens, for the question. And we have another from Xiao from Interest.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Just a simple question. I was always told that during laser mounting, people should not use organics. For example, when doing soldering of laser chip, gold tin is chosen because gold tin is a fluxless solder. So a flux is a kind of taboo. Can you say something that's maybe it's improved, that since you now have adhesives that can outgas much less than in the past?
Yes, so our adhesives are well established in that market for bonding optics, and outgassing is extremely minor in that case. And our adhesive also extremely hard with a very high Young's modulus. So from my understanding, for bonding extremely small optics, bonding is the way and not soldering. So soldering is just for bigger optical components, I would say. And when it comes to more precisely applications like the FAC bonding, adhesives are working extremely well here.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question or comment? I have perhaps a question, Thomas, about the active alignment. So perhaps can you expand a little bit of how do you do in terms of positioning the lens to get this maximum amount of light? Is something that you use precision, any precision component, or perhaps you can elaborate a little bit more?
So I can also jump back to the slide. To be honest, that is not a process that we do internally that exact. So we do the tests together with our customers. But yeah, you can. So you put the lens into the liquid adhesive and switch on the laser. And on the other side, from my understanding, you have a kind of a detector, which is measure the laser beam until it comes to the perfect position, and then you do the light fixation step. But we cannot do that test exactly with our in-house capabilities.
Okay.
That will be too much for us.
Yeah, okay. So you provide the adhesive to the customer, and they do the process using, and perhaps then you need to discuss if a new formulation is needed to get a better result.
Exactly.
Okay, understood then. Any final question or comment for Thomas? Well, if not, thank you again for being here today, this afternoon. And I don't know if you wrote already your email in the chat, but you have the opportunity to give your contact details so people can write you afterwards. Thank you, Thomas. Good afternoon.
Thanks.
And we can now go with our third speaker. So it's a pleasure to have today Joan Ramirez. He's a silicon photonics expert and program manager at the 3.5 Lab Nokia Bell Labs. And he's going to talk about the 3.5 on silicon heterogeneous integration technologies for on-chip laser integration. So Joan, I see that you have your screen. I know Joan since our times in MedFab project, so it's a pleasure to have him again and talking about how they manufacture the lasers. So Joan, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Antonio. I hope you hear me well.
Yeah, everything good.
See my screen. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joan Ramirez, and my presentation will be mostly focused on the heterogeneous integration technologies that combine 3.5 materials and silicon photonics for on-chip laser integration. Perhaps let me start with a few words, saying a few words about our lab. The 3.5 Lab is actually a joint venture between Nokia, the CL80 and Thales, whose main objective is to develop advanced technologies to push forward 3.5 semiconductors for electronic and photonic integrated circuits. We are about 100 people in the lab, and we are located in the Paris-Saclay campus, not far from Paris. So let me start by trying to answer the always difficult question: what do we do? We do many things, but today I will focus, as I said before, on the technologies that we are developing to integrate 3.5 materials on silicon photonics. And the main motivation here is quite clear. We want to demonstrate on-chip lasers, modulators, and photodiodes for silicon photonics. So we believe that by introducing optical gain, on-chip optical gain, as well as other fancy phenomena that we can find on indium phosphide technology, such as the quantum confined Stark effect that we have on quantum wells, or also the high electromobility that we have on indium phosphide that could be very useful for photodiodes as well, could be very interesting to be used for silicon photonics. So we are developing devices that look like the one you see here, in which we have an SOA that is integrated on top of a silicon photonic waveguide. One of the advantages of this technology is that we can control very well the optical mode confinement just by playing with the geometrical dimensions. Here you have a couple of examples. Just by narrowing the silicon waveguide or making it wider, we can control the amount or the percentage of the optical mode that is confined in the 3.5, and this is very useful, especially when you want to develop complex photonic circuits with different kinds of devices. We also use adiabatic mode coupling to let's say to couple the optical mode from one platform to another one, and this is also quite interesting because it's a lossless process, and it's also quite broadband. We can make it work for an optical bandwidth of around 50 nanometers or so, which is quite convenient. And here in the middle you have a typical device cross section in which we have the 3.5 waveguide sitting on top of the silicon waveguide, and we also have some sort of quantum wells, quantum dots, or some sort of quantum structures in the green area. So it's a PIN junction that we inject electrically. And another important point is that we are using hybrid optical modes, meaning that the optical mode is coupled in the 3.5 and silicon and propagates simultaneously through both platforms. So this is quite unique or quite different from what we can see on other hybrid approaches, where the optical mode is always confined in either the indium phosphide or on silicon. Here we have the mode that travels along the two platforms simultaneously. And here what you see at the right hand side is basically an example of a one kind of transmitter that we are developing at the 3.5 lab, in which we have an array of different lasers that are coupled to different optical modulators, and then we have some multiplexers to combine all these optical signals in one waveguide. And also we use typically grating couplers or edge couplers in some cases, but most of the cases it's grating couplers to couple with an optical fiber, a standard single mode fiber. So another important point is that we master all the macro steps to develop such devices in-house in the 3.5 lab. From design with several in-house simulation tools and also some other commercial tools. We have a very strong background on epitaxy. We have different growth techniques, MOVP and also gas source MDE. And we also have silicon processing capabilities and wafer or die bonding of these 3.5 epitaxies on silicon. And finally, we have a 3.5 clean room that enable us to perform all the back end of line and all the metallizations that are needed to interconnect these devices. So let me dive a bit more into the most technical part of the presentation, and I would like to show you the three main techniques that we use to integrate these 3.5 materials on silicon photonics. The first one is the wafer or die bonding. It's let's say the classical one, the most mature one as well. So basically, you process your silicon photonic circuits from one side, you grow your 3-5 heterostructures from another side, and then you flip the 3-5 heterostructure and you bond it on top of your silicon photonic waveguide, as you can see here. It can be a wafer. We can bond different 3-5 wafers, indium phosphide wafers, on a single silicon wafer, or we can also bond dies. So we can dice these 3-5 wafers in advance and then bond different dies. And finally, we etch this material on top of a silicon waveguide with already the passive circuitry, and we passivate these 3-5 devices, and we metallize them to enable the electrical injection. So that's the standard, let's say, heterogeneous integration that we have. We have another interesting technique that we are developing at the 3-5 lab, which is the indium phosphide seed bonding and regrowth. In this case, instead of bonding a full indium phosphide wafer, we are just bonding a very thin seed of around 100 nanometers in thickness, and from there we regrow the whole structure. This is quite nice because it enables us to save a lot of indium phosphide material, because in the previous one we have to remove the indium phosphide substrate to access the 3-5 heterostructure that we have just run before. Here there is no need for that. You just bond a very thin layer, and then from there you just regrow what you need. And another interesting point is that since it's compatible, this technology is compatible with the regrowth on silicon, we can replace the passivation, which is typically a dielectric passivation in the previous case. We can replace it by a semiconductor passivation with indium phosphide, which is much better in terms of thermal diffusion. And finally, we have another technique that we are exploring very intensively these days, which is the microtransfer printing. This technique enables you to prefabricate your device on the source wafer, meaning that we are going to pattern our indium phosphide devices on the indium phosphide substrate and we are going to use it on top of a sacrificial layer that you see here. And then this is a quite important step. We are going to define some tethers that will anchor to the substrate. So afterwards, we will remove this sacrificial layer with some chemicals, and we will have freestanding membranes. And finally, by using a microstamp, we will be able to break these tethers and to print this membrane on top of a silicon photonic circuit. And this is just an example of a publication that we did with the University of Ghent and IMEC back in 2022. This is different from the classical flip chip. Here you have a better resolution. Can you hear me?
We lost you for
something weird
1
happened?
second. Yeah, we lost you for 1 second.
Okay.
I hear you well now, but no, you're frozen again.
Okay. Is it okay now?
I hear you. I
Something
hear you
weird
a little bit
happening again?
frozen.
I'm frozen.
Can you try again?
Yeah. Can you hear me well?
I think now it's okay. Let's try again now.
Am I sharing the
Yeah,
slide?
you are sharing. Yes, yes.
Know what happened. Okay, so as I was saying before, I don't see you anymore. Okay. Anyways, if let me just put the pointer back. Sorry for that. So as I was saying before, this is different from the flip chip because we are transfer printing a very thin membrane of 3-5 materials. So it is not a final device. It's only the, let's say, the optical gain part or the quantum confined. It's going back and forth. I don't see you anymore.
Yeah, I saw something strange is happening. Can you try to leave it there, because it seems that is when you share the screen, you do the full mode presentation, is something happening. I don't hear you now. Can you try again, Joan? Do you hear me, Joan? Sorry for these issues with the presentation by Joan. No, he's disappearing. So we can perhaps move to our next speaker and wait until Joan is back, and he will rejoin again with the presentation. So Vicente, do you mind to start the presentation now in between that we are having these issues with Joan's? Okay, so let's move then to your presentation, Vicente.
All right.
So Vicente Calvo, the CEO of the company Comtech there in Finland, and he's going to present the laser phase stability and manufacturing flexibility enabled by the platform Controx LASE 16. So Vicente, you can perhaps join yours.
Yes,
share your screen.
I will share my screen. Yeah.
I'm sorry, everybody, for the issues with Joan's connection.
Okay. This one, yes. Right. So hello, good afternoon. So my name is Vicente Calvo. I'm the CEO of Comtech Solutions. Thanks a lot for giving us the opportunity to show you our offerings related to high power lasers. So first of all, just a brief introduction to our company. So we are a small company founded in 2017 and located in Turku, southwest coast of Finland. We are a team of 26 people. We have a strong patent portfolio of 49 patents and several trademarks. And our main offering basically is passivation technologies for compound semiconductors, mainly 3.5s. We offer customers for tailored process optimization. So we develop our technology for different applications, such as micro-LEDs, lasers, also in power electronics, so gallium nitride and silicon carbide-based devices. And we offer our technology as technology transfer for chip manufacturers in the form of equipment or IP license and royalties. What we are working or what we are trying to solve is the well-known problem of the aggressive oxidation of the 3.5 materials. So as you most probably all know, the compound semiconductors tend to oxidize naturally very aggressively, forming native oxides, which are amorphous in nature, full of defects at atomic level. And these defects basically return in or result in performance drop of the devices, also manufacturing yield losses because of the defects. And overall, it will increase the costs of the chips. And what we have developed as a company is a new way to control this oxidation, how the oxidation process happens. And we can create for the first time native oxides on the compound semiconductors, which are highly crystalline and which have a much lower amount of surface defects. We have measured up to 98% surface defect reduction. These crystalline oxides are very stable, meaning that they can be exposed to atmosphere and to oxygen, and they are not degrading anymore. And this allows, of course, to have a much better and safer manufacturing flow without so much defect formation because of oxidation between steps. And also it helps to improve the device performance. And one of the applications that came in mind when we started to look for how to commercialize this was to passivate laser facets. In high power edge-emitting lasers, catastrophic optical mirror damage is a big problem and is what is basically limiting the performance and reliability of these chips. This effect is much more pronounced when working with aluminum-containing materials, such as aluminum gallium arsenide. And these defects in the facets coming from oxidation, among other things, basically what they lead is to increase the optical absorption in resulting in a localized heating, and it starts a cycle where ultimately the temperature increases very rapidly. Then there is also this non-radiative recombination happening, and in the end, what happens is that it basically explodes the facet. During the manufacturing of high power lasers, edge-emitting lasers, there is a time pressure from the cleaving of the facets towards the mirror coating process to prevent oxidation and to prevent this defect formation on the facet. And this is basically limiting a lot the manufacturing flow. There are some techniques like cleaving in ultra-high vacuum and sealing with zinc selenide, for instance, which is addressing the same problem in a very good way, but the cost and throughput of such systems is very limited. With our process, we can create this very, as I mentioned, this very, very stable and very thin native oxides. And we use this as a passivation solution prior to the mirror coating process. As our layers are very stable, it means that we can not only make good quality passivation, but also we can add this stability as another card, as another factor to improve the manufacturing of the laser diodes. Taking this as a starting point, we start developing a tool totally designed for this application. So just to passivate laser diodes. With that, we have put all our know-how in terms of surface engineering, process development, and how to control different processes to design this compact machine where we can do very high throughput, more than 1,000 laser bars per day in a fully automatic system, supporting also multiple recipes for different types of wavelengths of lasers. And this basically helps us to increase the flexibility and throughput during the production. And one important thing is, of course, that compared to this zinc selenide passivation, for instance, or even ultra-high vacuum cleaving, is a much lower cost and much more efficient. So we are coming to the market with our offering, competing against other known techniques, but let's say that our biggest selling factors or key selling factors is that we can do it in a much higher throughput at much lower cost. The system itself is, as I mentioned, is a very compact equipment which consists of a low lock chamber. It's an ultra-high vacuum system, which is one of the conditions to apply our process. And it has a low lock chamber where there is a carousel to mount different stacking jigs. We can stack up to 8 different jigs in the low lock. And then a processing chamber where there are happening 3 processes. We have an in-situ cleaning process to remove the native oxides. We do the passivation, and we can do additionally a silicon nitride-based sealing to protect further the passivation layer, for instance, to prevent degradation during the mirror coating process, depending on what is the mirror coating process at the customer side. In this tool, basically what we have demonstrated already with several customers is that after we do the passivation, we deliver the laser bars to our customers, which are located in different areas of the globe, taking a few days, even a couple of weeks until they continue the mirror coating, and they can still measure the improvements of the passivation. So this is showing and is giving a good example how stable this passivation and these layers are, and how it could be influencing and adding benefit during the whole manufacturing flow. So, like I said, so the improvements into this into the passivation step, the performance is not only what we are seeing as a key advantage for the manufacturers, but this time flexibility between the passivation and the mirror coating is also adding a lot of benefits. One is, of course, the mirror coating process can be run in a much more efficient way, full load, etc. So that, and also reducing variation between runs if you are running less mirror coating steps at full capacity. As an example of improvements, for instance, this is just a COD level improvement made by a customer where the mirror coatings took more than 1 week before after our passivation step. And the customer has been measuring double the pulse COD improvement damage level. As another example, we have been benchmarked against zinc selenide passivation process by MBE. And with our process, basically, we managed to achieve similar levels or at the high level of the COD obtained during with the zinc selenide. With the difference that our process is much faster, higher throughput, lower cost than zinc selenide. Just a comparison with the zinc selenide, for instance, passivation, the tool footprint is much slower. We have, as I mentioned, we have all the processes in a single chamber, including the flipping of the stacking jigs. The capex is like a 50% lower, at least, than a basic zinc selenide module. Annual maintenance also is less than 1/3. Everybody knows the complexity of MBEs and the maintenance, including the downtime. So our process our machine can be serviced in approximately 1 week. Let's put 2 weeks as maximum over the year. In 1 year, the throughput is like up to 3 times higher than the zinc selenide and passivation process. All these factors, including like the no need for liquid nitrogen cooling, simple operator as the machine is fully automatic, makes a big difference and adds and brings a new dimension to the facet passivation. So what we are offering basically is a turnkey passivation solution for edge-emitting lasers with high throughput, where we can deliver customers and we can support customers with customized process recipes for different types of wavelengths, different types of architectures. And we are offering a high-value solution combining performance, efficiency, and cost effectiveness for high volume production. This is important now, for instance, when we are seeing how the volumes are expected to increase dramatically because of the data centers, because of potentially the nuclear fusion applications. And we see that our technology is actually solving the cost and the throughput limitations. What we are looking for is, of course, laser manufacturers and integrators who are looking to improve performance, yield, or throughputs. We are offering pilot projects and industrial partnerships to implement novel approaches for passivation. And of course, looking to provide long-term collaborations with good support through the whole life cycle of your devices. And that's basically our presentation today.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Vicente, for the presentation. So we have now time again for questions and comments, so you can raise your hand and make your question to Vicente. So I have a question regarding the integration in the production lines. You mentioned potential pilot lines. I guess it's related with European Union projects, potential projects, collaboration with companies. But are you going in the direction of installing already in some customers in a more automated production line, or you are still in the first stages?
Yes, actually, we are negotiating now the first deal with a Japanese manufacturer to implement it to production. Yes. And we are piloting with several customers in different regions, a couple in Europe, US, and well, in Japan, we have a couple of customers as well. Yes.
And any support regarding this process of automation? Any potential new component that you will need, or any new technology that you will need to implement in your solution, or will be more in the end user part that perhaps they need to adapt a little bit their facility?
Well, it's something that I mean, of course, there is always continuous development in the solutions. Something that we have developing this particular machine is like the how we heat up the lasers to prevent damage to the laser bars. So we are actually heating with a laser. We modify the beam to have a very nice uniform square shape beam, which is hitting only the laser facets. And in there, of course, we have a supplier of the laser diodes. But in order to secure the supply chain a bit better, we could be interested in suppliers of different wavelengths of pulse diode lasers, up to, let's say, 75 watts in power, I think, or 100 watts and that's something that we could be interested in as well. Yeah.
Okay. And you briefly mentioned the laser for fusion, but I didn't get
Yes.
what was your comment about that? Is
Well,
applying
yeah.
your technology to develop lasers for this
Well,
application?
laser fusion is something that is being under development at the moment. A lot of laser manufacturers are actually working heavily on that. I mean, there are public programs about that in Japan, in Germany, in US, where they are developing all the laser systems. So laser diodes are used for pumping the big lasers. And it's estimated that one single nuclear fusion plant will require like more than 1 million laser bars per year. So if we look into those numbers, basically it's worldwide production at the moment. So the let's say 940s or nanometers that they are using at the moment for that, the production needs to grow to scale really dramatically if that wants to be implemented. And this increase in volumes requires high throughput processing. And this passivation at the moment is not a high throughput process. So we are tackling that. And also the cost. I mean, in order to implement that, the laser, it was estimated, there is some nice presentations out there already where somebody has calculated that the cost of these laser diodes for pumping need to be like 10 times less as what they are today. So it means that every single process also need to be much lower cost. And this is what we are bringing with our technology. We are not saying that we provide the highest quality, because for that ultra high vacuum cleaving zinc selenide could be the best or is the best, but the cost and throughput of that solution is not applicable to this by high volume manufacturing. So we are bringing this opportunity.
Okay, good, very good. This is a topic we will cover also at the end of the year, because we will have an online meeting about laser fusion, laser-driven fusion. So yeah, interesting your approach in this direction as well.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, we are working with 2 manufacturers for that particular application at the moment already.
Okay,
yes,
very good.
Yeah.
Good. Do we have any final question or comment for Vicente? I don't see any hand now. So again, thank you very much, Vicente, for presentation. So you can use also the chat for writing your email address in case somebody wants to contact you afterwards.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you,
Vicente. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yep, bye.
And we come back now to Joan. I see you, Joan, still alive, not freezing anymore.
Still alive. Sorry for that. My computer crashed.
No problem at all, Joan. So we
Yeah.
can go back to your presentation that you were presenting your work in this microtransfer printing. So perhaps we can go back to this slide.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, we see perfect.
Yeah, sorry for that. I'll try to continue. It won't take any longer. So I was just presenting the different technologies that we have at the 3.5 lab, and that enable us to integrate 3.5 materials on silicon photonics. And I was just explaining that we are very much into the microtransfer printing. Just I would like to continue. I would like to mention that we also have different geometric flavors readily available. Depending on the nature of the device that you want to develop, you may want to use one or the other. So I won't go into details, but it can be interesting. So in the following, let me just show you very quickly some demonstrators and interesting use cases that have been developed using these technologies. The first one
we
is
lost the screen, John. We lost the
again. It's okay. Do you see it now?
Yeah, we see now.
Yeah. Hope it will stay. So I was saying that I would like to show you some interesting demonstrators that we've developed with this technology, and I would like to start with the narrow linewidth DFB lasers that we've developed back in 2022, in which we just integrated a DFB laser on a silicon photonic circuit that provides over 13 dBms from each side. So it's a DFB laser, symmetric laser that provides 13 dBms from each side, as you can see from left and right. Very stable with fairly good laser threshold and a good wall plug efficiency of 17%, with a very nice line width of around 100 kilohertz that is compatible with coherent and match modulation formats. Hope you see my screen.
Yeah.
The second example is a high-speed, widely tunable transmitter that integrates a tunable laser, an optical modulator, and an optical amplifier on a silicon photonic platform. It has been fabricated at wafer scale, as you can see here. It's a very compact device. It has 1 millimeter in length and less than 200 micrometers in width, and it provides wide tunability over of around 50 nanometers centered in the C band, with an optical modulator that is able to provide 56 gigabit per second operation, and an optical amplifier at the output to compensate for the insertion loss that you have before. Yet another example, this time based on the MOCVD DFB laser that we developed in 2023. In this case, instead of using the silicon photonic waveguides as a passive element, we use them as an active one, because we introduced some doping, p-doped. It is a p-doped silicon waveguide, and we also introduced a couple of electrodes here to create a hybrid MOCVD device with the n-doped indium phosphide layer and the p-doped silicon waveguide. So by applying the right voltage here in this area, and by injecting current in this part over here, this is the standard PIN junction from a laser, we were able to control the charge carrier density at the interface here. And since the optical mode is also confined in this part, and since you can change the refractive index by changing the density of carriers that accumulates here, we were able to tune very fast the lasing wavelength. And this is not a thermal phenomenon. It's a carrier phenomenon, meaning that we were able to tune it very fast. And just by applying the right square voltage in these electrodes here, as you can see, of around 10 gigabit per second, we were also able to obtain a triangular frequency variation that could be very well used for LiDAR applications. So one more example, based this time on the microtransfer printing, because we also demonstrated tunable mod-log lasers integrated on silicon nitride photonic platforms, as you can see here. And this time we transfer printing a device that contains 3 different sections, one SOA at the left-hand side, a saturable absorber in the middle, and another SOA at the right-hand side. And just by controlling the voltage that we apply in the saturable absorber, we were able to control the free spectral range of this mod-log laser. And on the right-hand side, you see a very wide tunable laser integrated on silicon. And here what we did was to combine 2 different 3.5 coupons, 3.5 gain chips with different optical gain bandwidth, integrated on a single silicon photonic cavity to enable 110 nanometers of wavelength tunability. So now I would like to answer the question, what can we do for you? Mainly, to make the long story short, we can offer customized 3.5 on silicon technology. We have an internal, a recurrent internal 3.5 silicon multi-project wafer runs. So we have a very strong background on design, fabrication, and test of these devices. And of course, we can integrate different indium phosphide-based devices such as amplifiers, lasers, modulators, or photodiodes on silicon photonics. We also offer indium phosphide coupons for microtransfer printing, as well as 3.5 structures customized again. So depending on the demand, we can adapt very quickly to it. We can even support low volume production for microtransfer printing ready coupons, and we can also provide we can also help you to evaluate different advanced 3.5 on silicon heterogeneous integration technologies, and in particular for your use case, for your devices or your photonic circuits, and see if they fit your expectations. And we can also package some devices. Here it's very low volume because we have a small packaging unit at the 3.5 lab. But if you want, for instance, a package tunable laser, we can do it for you. And what can you do for us? This is also an interesting question, right? So the packaging, you can help us finding packaging solutions or helping us packaging these photonic integrated circuits, because this is really a bottleneck in general, I would say. Of course, you can also help us identifying interesting use cases where silicon photonics would be a good fit, because we all know all the, let's say, the classical applications for this technology, but there might be others out there that are also interesting to explore. And in general, you could help us pushing forward new ideas, and also to solve some important challenges such as the thermal management on silicon photonics, or how to improve the wafer yield, and how to go towards a standard model where we have predefined devices that help us build more complex photonic circuits. And in general, you can help us contributing to the consolidation of this technology and the ecosystem in general. So that's it in general. This is just a summary of the different technologies that we have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joan, for the presentation and for showing all your capabilities as well. So we have again time for questions or comments. Yeah, Andy from Scantinel.
Right. Yeah. Hi. The wave and die bonding, is that using molecular bonding?
Yes, we are using direct bonding. Yeah.
Can you explain maybe on a high level what are the main differences to technology OpenLight, for example, is offering?
As long as I know, it's quite similar. I think that they also do direct bonding. I don't know exactly how they do it, but I guess it's a bit similar. It's direct bonding, so very well polarized surfaces. As I say here, we have different technologies that you can explore, such as the regrowth or also the microtransfer printing, or you can even combine some of them all together. But yeah, it's quite similar to OpenLight, I would say.
Right. And are you planning to transfer this technology to a silicon foundry?
Yes, it's something that is on the table, of course, because this technology has been around for years, and now we are achieving a quite good maturity level. So it's the right time. I think it's the right moment to try to transfer it to a foundry with better fabrication capabilities. Let's say more scalability.
Okay, thank you. That's very interesting. Let's follow up offline.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Andy. Yeah, we have a question from Max as well.
Yes, thank you very much for this great talk. So you mentioned that you are searching for dedicated packaging solutions for the advanced packaging design you showed. What are the main pain points here?
The main challenges, you mean?
Yes, exactly.
For the packaging. Yeah, sure. I mean, there are many challenges. First of all, every design is different. I mean, we can have many customers or clients or collaborators asking for a particular design, and you have to change everything, including the packaging. And I mean, we need to go towards a standard where you have something that is fixed, and then you have to play with what is inside, but you cannot change everything. And I would say that you have the high speed connections, you have the DCs, you have optical fibers, how to handle all this together. Because the example I'm showing in the slide here is a tunable laser. So you need high speed for the optical modulators. You have different DCs, and you have also some optical fibers for the off-chip coupling, right? So this is not straightforward to place in a package.
Yeah, I see.
But the standardization, I would say that's the most important thing. We should try to go towards a model where we do not change the endpoints, and we just play about with the different Lego blocks that we have inside, right?
Yeah, but I think it's really the global pain point. So everyone is struggling with the non-existing standardization somehow, or isn't it?
Yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess
Yeah,
for now. Yeah.
true. Yes, thanks.
Thank you, Max. We have another question from Siyat from Alcatel.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you for your presentation. Very interesting. It's a simple question. How can we contact you? Can you put your email address?
Yeah, sure. I will put my email address in the chat.
In the chat, yeah, you can use the chat to put the email address.
Thank you.
Thank you, Siyat. Any final question or comment for Joan? I just have a question about curiosity. It's about the tunable laser that you mentioned. Is when the distance between the lines that you can have or obtain in your design.
You mean the laser lines?
Yeah, the laser lines. What's the distance
It's
in
continuous.
terms of wavelength?
It's continuous. You can reach any wavelength for a wavelength range of 50 nanometers, depending on the design, because we can also design at different wavelengths. I didn't say, but if you want in the O band, in the C band, in the S band, in the L band, we can make it. It's normally around 50 nanometers, and you can reach any wavelength by playing with the heaters. It's a thermal assisted laser. I mean, it's
any chance for the user to more control that as well, or is something that you need to do on your labs?
No. The user can control it. I mean, we normally provide a lookup table with the different currents that you need to put in each heater, but the user can play with the current in each heater and adjust the wavelength. Of course, there are some transition points where you can be bimodal because you are transitioning from one to another, but just by adjusting all the heaters, you can always find a condition where your laser is monomode and lasers well with more than 50 dBs of SMSR and in a good monomodal condition, let's say.
Okay, good. Because I had this doubt if there was like a kind of factory, let's say, established, or if the user could play a little bit. Good, thank you.
Welcome.
So I don't see any other hand. So thank you very much, Joan, for the presentation today. Thank you for coming and doing this summary of the presentation.
Yes, no worries.
Thank you very much. And we can move now to our next speaker. So we have here Petri Uusima. He's the founder and CTO of the company Modulite in Finland. And he's going to present scalable and diversified manufacturing of gallium arsenide and indium phosphide semiconductor lasers. So I see that Petri is already sharing the screen. So the floor is yours, Petri.
Okay, thanks for having me today. And I will probably gear the discussion a little bit on the ecosystem level and maybe less technical details in my presentation. So good afternoon to everybody. My name is Petri Uusima, and I'm co-founder and CTO of Modulite. And I'd like to share today Modulite's perspective on scalable manufacturing of 3.5 semiconductors. And rather than focusing on individual products, I'd like to discuss something that has become equally important during the past few years. So how secure manufacturing capability, vertically integrated production, and European semiconductor capacity are becoming a strategic competitive advantage. And I will also explain why we believe that these trends are place companies like Modulite in an interesting position in the market. Most of you, or many of you, maybe know Modulite primarily as a medical laser company from the past years, but in reality, we operate 3-5 semiconductor manufacturing platforms serving medical devices, industrial photonics, quantum technologies, semiconductor metrology, and also defense applications. And our biggest differentiator is that all of these products originate from the same in-house semiconductor fab. And this fab we've been operating continuously over 25 years now. And over those years, we've learned something very important, which probably many of you also know. So building semiconductor manufacturing capability is measured in decades, not in years. And well, even here in Tampere, where we are based, this field was started like mid-80s and developed year on year. And I think we just heard a talk about from 3-5 Lab, where they have kind of a similar basis around initially Alcatel and so on. And overall, the clean room equipment processes are only part of that type of investments. The most valuable asset, I believe, is the accumulated process knowledge and quality systems and, of course, experienced people. And I will show a short video about Modulite, so you get a little bit feeling about who we are, what we do. So hopefully that comes through nicely.
We do lasers and optics for personalized medicine and better life.
Modulite is a unique vertically integrated company. Our mission is clear: kill cancer. We design and manufacture tailored lasers for demanding applications, from closely regulated medical treatments to flow cytometry and even quantum computing. Everything is crafted in-house, from epitaxial structures and custom mechanics all the way to clinical devices. Our full vertical integration ensures unparalleled control over supply and change control. Our cloud-connected devices offer preventive maintenance and predictive analytics, keeping your technology ahead of the curve. Let's dive deeper into today's presentation. Follow Modulite for more insights and innovations.
So with this, you probably get a kind of a background on what basis I'm talking about here, and we'll probably touch those topics later. But I would like to now kind of talk more about the market landscape as of today. Myself being in this industry, well, almost total of 30 years now. So there's some background. And here I try to kind of summarize some of the key drivers as I see it today. The first and obvious is AI, of course. And this AI infrastructure building is creating unseen demand for optical interconnects, data center lasers, and high performance photonics components overall. But equally important is that what has happened to manufacturing during the last decade. Supply chains have become increasingly concentrated. First with COVID exposed the vulnerability of the manufacturing chains, and then thereafter geopolitical tensions have reinforced it. And today, many customers ask us that not only that can you make this laser, but rather can you guarantee the supply of this product for next 10 years and so on, and even asking upfront commitment for such long contracts. And this is really seems becoming a strategic purchasing criterion overall. the same time, industry consolidation has reduced the number of independent 3.5 manufacturers, and this creates opportunities for companies that still maintain broad manufacturing capability in this field. And finally, some new application areas like that are kind of becoming more industrial, including quantum technologies and advanced sensing, and also defense and dual use products require specialized photonics components that are difficult to source from high volume community suppliers. All these trends increase the value of diversified and flexible manufacturing that I wanted to bring up. And here on right side, you see kind of type of components and technologies that are needed for actually realizing products to these applications. And then if we kind of look into the European viewpoint, being an EPIC, so that's always important for all of us. And I see kind of this slide maybe the most important for my presentation today. I think Europe still possesses outstanding semiconductor research and 3.5 scientists. What Europe has gradually lost is manufacturing scale. Well, we saw a good example of this know-how what Joan presented on 3.5 lab as well as an example, and but really this manufacturing base has becoming less and less available. At the same time, AI ecosystem is pretty much dominated by US companies at the moment, and increasingly Europe depends on external suppliers and technologies that are becoming critical on strategic level. And this is not no longer kind of industrial issue. It affects also other fields like healthcare, defense, communications, and other critical infrastructure that we are building here. And maybe the objective should be rather not to try to replicate every global megafab that there is on a semiconductor field. Instead, maybe trying to strengthen the manufacturing assets we already have here. Existing 3.5 labs and fabs, and existing process know-how overall, and engineering talent, and focused investments into these assets maybe create resilient supply chains much faster than starting everything from the scratch. And vertical manufacturing ecosystems built around European companies maybe can become then a genuine competitive advantage over time. And with following slides, I'm a little bit explaining more how we have kind of looked into this, and this slide illustrates why vertical integration matters. Every manufacturing interface introduces a risk. So different suppliers, different quality systems, logistics, different priorities. And when one supplier encounters difficulties, the entire supply chain slows down. By integrating epitaxy, wafer processing, packaging, testing, electronics, and eventually even final system integration and testing, we significantly can reduce those interfaces and risks. And this obviously significantly shortens also the development cycles and improves process feedback and yields. And perhaps most importantly today, this dramatically improves the supply chain security. Our customers increasingly value not only the technical performance, but confidence that critical components and solutions will be available years into the future. And vertical integration provides exactly that type of confidence, how we have felt from our customers. Because we control the whole semiconductor manufacturing itself, we are not limited just to our catalog products. This shows kind of a spread of type of lasers that we are manufacturing at Modulight today. And we can optimize these product solutions to individual customers and applications. And this flexibility allows us to support everything from medical devices to quantum systems and beyond. The same core manufacturing capability creates value across many different markets too. And if we go forward to a kind of subsystem level, our ML6600 subsystem platform is a good example of that how we can benefit of this vertical integration. We develop both the semiconductor source and different type of laser sources, diode fiber lasers, DBSs, and VCSEL lasers, for example, and we can integrate these into a kind of a unified subsystem solution. This enables rapid customization while maintaining regulatory quality, reliability, and manufacturability of these custom solutions. And this approach has proven particularly attractive for OEM customers who value long-term product availability and not kind of sacrificing the ultimate performance of the products. And in next video, I will show a little bit more that how we have built up this vertical integration and security of supply capability at Modulight during the past few years.
We executed a $27 million investment program over the years 2019 to 2022, bringing our total investment to over $50 million. This extensive program yielded substantial upgrades, increased production capacity, and notable improvements in our semiconductor fab, system assembly, and parts manufacturing. We have increased our production capacity, introduced new capabilities, expanded our offering, improved productivity, and reduced lead time to our valued customers. For pharmaceutical and other high-value-add customers, reducing total R&D costs can be achieved by cutting down calendar time. Over 2 decades, we have invested to truly vertically integrated operations. This means we can reduce time to market by cutting development time right from the first proof of concept stages. Utilizing medical device manufacturing standards already in the R&D phase reduces risk and time to market. As the process unfolds, vertical integration assumes a critical role in ensuring supply chain security. Today, we can swiftly transform ideas into intricately detailed mechanics, custom optics, and laser packaging with exceptional pace. This translates to our customers taking the express lane in their development endeavors, saving invaluable time and meaning faster go-to-market. Needless to say, only a company with epitaxy and chip processing capabilities can tailor the chips for the specific application and provide a genuine supply chain guarantee. However, we understand that machines alone can only do so much. Hence, in our addition to our investment and equipment, we've extended our laser family by welcoming experts from diverse fields of science, technology, and regulatory compliance, and even medical doctors. Our expanded laser family now boasts professionals with expertise from molecular biology to semiconductor physics, system design, and beyond. We have the team, the tools, and the commitment. Together with our customers, we kill cancer and build a better life for all.
Knowing that we are a little bit running behind on the schedule, so I just quickly conclude my talk with maybe 3 points I still want to emphasize. So first, the semiconductor manufacturing capability, I believe, has become a strategic asset, not simply a production function. And secondly, secure supply chains increasingly require vertically integrated manufacturing rather than globally fragmented production base. And thirdly, I think Europe already possesses unique 3.5 expertise, which we should further enforce with focused investments and efforts. And yeah, my talk is open for questions from here.
Thank you very much, Petri, for this review, and we have time for questions or comments. I will perhaps start with a question about we saw different programs now within the PERTES EU projects and money going to different countries. But do you still see barriers in terms of developing and how Modulight can support the European supply chain or companies that are developing lasers. How can they support the other companies that are in the supply chain? Which ideas come to your mind in this way?
Yeah, maybe kind of how I see this. I think this translates or bridges nicely to what kind of discussion we had actually 2 weeks ago in Berlin in EPIC Quantum event, that how we should maybe think about this, that kind of look into the strengths and existing know-how and manufacturing capabilities on a European scale, and trying to find and build up this kind of verticals, really from, in this case, semiconductors to actually integrators, end users, and therefore kind of build up kind of a strong manufacturing base here in Europe. And well, obviously we put in our investments and kind of effort on having that kind of capability. And okay, now we see increasingly interest for kind of having access to this type of things. But at the end, I think it's really finding the right partners who kind of feel this same desire to build up this type of fully vertically integrated manufacturing chains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other comment or question for Petri? Yeah, Joan.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for the talk. I have a question that is related to the, how to say, the research direction or the research interest that you have. I mean, are you developing some sort of new epitaxial growth, or are you interested in developing new kinds of lasers aside from what you already have in the market? What are the next steps? Where do you think that the effort should be placed from now on?
Yeah, excellent question. And yeah, I didn't maybe touch too much about what do we do and what direction we are going, but definitely the type of things what you presented, that we kind of believe into this semiconductor level integration. And I think this is also one opportunity for us in Europe, even if you think about this perspective, that we have a lot of know-how and expertise on silicon-based optical products, PICs, and so on. But there's still room for improving, let's say, the interface between these two platforms, for example. And I think there's a big opportunity there. It's not solved anywhere else either. So that's kind of one good thing where we could kind of focus and specialize. We have really put effort on trying to bridge that also from our part, maybe at this point more on the hybrid integration type of thing. So how to couple our products to PICs and so on, assembly-wise and packaging-wise, but definitely directions what you also presented, kind of going more like wafer-level integration and so on, definitely in our roadmap as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Any final question or comment for Petri? Well, if not, thank you again for this nice presentation and sharing the thoughts of impressive company as Modulight. Thank you for showing. And you can perhaps also write your email in the chat so anybody interested can write you later to discuss afterwards.
Will do.
And we can move now to our next speaker. So it's a pleasure to have here Melanie Mathios, is a Photonics-Robotics Technology Strategist, and Jean Boillon, CSO at the company Percipio Robotics. And we are going now to talk about automation for laser manufacturing. So Melanie, Jan, you can share your screen. And thank you for being here this afternoon.
Our pleasure. Good afternoon, all. So we are Percipio Robotics. We are specialized in developing and delivering mass production solutions for microassembly tasks. And today we will tell you about our solutions for lasers. So I'm Joan. I've been working in Percipio for 8 years, and I'm mainly in charge of sales development.
And I'm Melanie. I'm in charge of all the photonics business, also on the strategic part. And let's go.
So a bit more about our company shortly. So we are based in France, about 40 people. As earlier mentioned, we work in systems for microassembly, and we've got at date more than 70 machines installed, ensuring microassembly tasks by our customers. And to describe more in detail what we do, we are specialized in what we call the micro world. So we can grasp and place products from a size of 5 microns to a few millimeters and place them with, I would say, micron-like accuracy, depending on the application. We make robotic machines, so which are flexible and able to adapt to a variety of products. Also, we do not have standard machines. We only make tailored systems that fit to our customer application, so machines that are directly usable and mass production ready, which means that our systems are able to work 24/7 and are turning in production from the day they are delivered.
So let's talk about photonics now. When we are looking at the reality of automation in photonics, we think there is one challenge that remains clearly underaddressed. It's one machine that can perform many different assemblies in a fully automated way. We call it the high mixed low volume challenge. But why is it so important for the photonics industry, especially in the laser market? Because you don't manufacture only one laser reference. Your production is based on multiple laser chips with different wavelengths and therefore different lenses, fibers, and you may also have multiple packages. That's why such reality brings a need for a flexible machine able to manage a huge diversity of product. And for a few years now, we have been seen in lasers companies. Some of them start the automation by themselves. And it can be a long and laborious journey, especially if you don't have robotic specialists in your staff. And the same applies if you have to adapt a standard machine to your dedicated process. You may need to customize part of the robotic code, or worse, change the hardware. All these constraints are why we provide you a dedicated machine that allows you to manage the product diversity that you need for today and tomorrow, easily switch from one production batch to another, and last but not least, create your own assembly recipes with our suited UX. Now, let's take a look on the practical side of the photonics microassembly and the impact of its main processes. First, and perhaps the most critical one, grasping. At Photonics-Robotics, we've been developing a full range of robotic grippers that allows you to grasp your photonic components without damaging them. And once the component is properly grasped, we need to position it as accurately as possible with vision control when passive alignment is required and with dedicated algorithms when active alignment is needed. Typically, we want to make it easy for you to select the parameter that you want to optimize, may it be the beam shape, the power, the PER, with the corresponding algorithms and the motion steps. And the last step to complete is the gluing. The main challenge of this process Thomas already told a lot about this topic before, but it's the component drift caused by shrinkage. And one of the key is mastering how the adhesive behave, because it allows us to compensate for shrinkage in a repeatable way and keeps the final product within spec. But how we drive all these processes steps with our flexible software that enables full control of all the robotic tasks and real-time monitoring. And because we want to solve the high mixed low volume challenge, we are building the software that will allow you to adapt the assembly recipe with a high degree of flexibility. And because the video can be more powerful than a million words, I wanted to show you the live demo we've presented last year at the Laser World of Photonics in Munich. This demo was designed to show how we can handle several morphologies of optical components and implement many different active alignment processes. The process follows the same sequence for each component: grasp, align, grasp, transfer, align, sorry. With one difference, we optimize optical power for the polarizing beam splitter and PER for the wave plates. And for the wave plates, they move together until the best possible PR is achieved. This demo also includes data visualization screens that allows operators to get a clear idea of the status of each process. And if I want to wrap up this demo, we wanted to show our ability to manage complex photonics assemblies with a simple interface that gives customer a clear view of the process and let them validate each steps.
So, as earlier mentioned, we make customized systems, which means that the key is your process and your ability to deliver a product that makes the job you need. So in terms of methodology, how we do manage our projects is that we will start always with a proof of concept, which will be an affordable phase to show you that our systems can reach your objectives. Then we move to a repeatability phase in which we prove the capability of the systems and the repeatability on the long term. And once the processes are validated, we move to a machine in which we integrate the process into a chassis, a casing, and then together with that, place the UX, develop the UX and the traceability system. Then only after full qualification, it moves to customer facility in which we deliver, we train the team, we launch production, and then we introduce to the teams the NPI, new product introduction processes to help you having, I would say, a flexible working system on site. Then what can we do together? What we can do for our customers is, of course, delivering automated solution, which will help you with having more repeatable process, a higher throughput, and full traceability of your products, your components, and the final quality of your products. And it, of course, helps in having, I would say, an overall easier HR solutions, as we all know that making such assemblies manually is always complex, needs qualified people, etc. So overall, we are trying to help with laser manufacturers' futures. And on the other end, what you can do for us, as we are now developing this flexible platform, is to submit your specifications. If you are thinking about going to automation in the next 2-3 years, you know it's too early, but it's in your roadmap. We would be there to listen to your needs, listen to your processes, understand how you work, so that we integrate the specification of your processes into the design of this platform and make sure that it will be as ready as possible when you need us to integrate your specific process. So that's it for today, and we are, of course, welcoming any question, comments, etc.
Thank you very much, Jan, Melanie.
You're
Again,
welcome.
we have time for questions or comments. We have some laser manufacturers in the room, like the BWT. So I would perhaps like to ask Jens, what do you think about automation, for example, in your company? Do you think it's already an important thing in a company like that, BW3? There are other priorities that you think will be more interesting in the short term. How do you see, Jan, this automatization in your companies?
Actually, I'm impressed to see what you presented. That's a very, very nice tool. It's a nice video. I wish I would have seen that like 15 years ago. That's when we started automation. And as you said, we built our first units ourselves, different company that days, but still same topic. Then we bought machines. And during these years, now we have automation for each single process step because we don't fully fulfill your target. We have that mix, but we have also volume. So we can allow to go step by step, one machine, one step. And then the steps are much easier and don't need that very nice complex unit that you have shown. But nevertheless, at the end, it's also a question of costs. I just want to mention the first machine that we bought for FAC, fully automated FAC alignment and gluing, 6-axis. That was in the range of 300 kilo euros even, not dollar. And you buy this today, like maybe 12, 13, 14 years later, for 10% only. So I fully understand the point. If you have small volume and you need one universal machine to do the job, this looks wonderful. We are, for diode lasers, already like 70% automated. For fiber laser, cleaving and splicing and handling the fiber, that's a different beast for automation. There's still something to do manually. Don't know if that helped, but that's my perspective from today. So automation and photonics, yes, please.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your input. Definitely ROI is, of course, an absolute must-have, which is one of the reasons why we try to making flexible machines that allow starting automation, even though you have a consolidated big volume, but only small parts of it spread into different references. And yeah, I mean, and when it comes to integrate fibers, that's also a part of our current efforts, notably in manipulating fibers in 6-dimension, grasping these, and also we are working at the fiber preparation jobs. So if we can be of some help, we would be welcome.
Yeah, let's get in contact and see how we can get profit from each other.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the comment, Jens. Any other comment or question for Percipio? Well, if not, you can, again, we see your email here, but you can perhaps write in the chat also, and people can contact you afterwards. So Jan, Melanie, thank you very much for the presentation, and thank you for being here this afternoon.
Thank you for your attention.
And we go to our final speaker. So thank you to Max Tripel, Business Development Manager at the company Smart Act, for being our last speaker today and talk about precision motion, also at the backbone of photonic manufacturing. So Max, the floor is yours. And yeah, looking forward to hear what you are going to present.
Yes, thank you very much, Antonio. Is my presentation on the screen?
Yeah, everything good.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Melanie and Jan for the excellent presentation. I couldn't help noticing that the previous presentation gave me a perfect assist. Why? Because you taught that you deal with precision from 5 microns up to millimeters, and where Percipio stops, we are entering the field. So we are dealing just with nanometer precision. So our tools have resolutions of nanometers and ending up at accuracies sub-micron. That's actually the point. And we have just seen which role robotics play within the laser manufacturing, but regardless of whether a process is manually or automated, every critical manufacturing step ultimately depends on one fundamental requirement, and that is exactly precise and repeatable control of the process itself. And today I would like to show how Smaragd contributes to this. And my topic for this talk is from R&D to high volume manufacturing, precision motion at the backbone of photonic manufacturing. Let's dive in. First of all, I want to show you a quick eye opener because in the past last years, I've seen many presentations from laser manufacturers and photonic companies, and I also had many discussions with several people from the industry, and usually the focus is on device performance, basically. And that is what you can see on the left-hand side. So more optical power is needed, better beam quality, more channels, higher efficiencies, and so on and so on and so on. And I mean, that is truly obviously important. But what I want to emphasize at this point is that quite often the manufacturing side is less visible. So, and therefore, Antonio, I also found your questions to Thomas really great. You asked, how the precision is handled within your testing, and the answer was, we do it with partners somehow. But and that really confirmed my observation. So the really precision motion as key enabler is not visible somehow within the photonics ecosystem. And I mean the most crucial questions for manufacturers are: how do we test the devices, for example? How do we align it? How do we couple the light in and out? And how do we make this repeatable enough for production, for example? Yes, and I mean, these are really the key questions. And this is where precision motion becomes really relevant at this point. And because and between these two worlds, device performance on this left-hand side and on the right-hand side, the manufacturing control, there's often a gap. And I noticed also that from 3.5 Lab, Joan, you mentioned also, okay, we have this performance or these performances in mind. We have some R&D, we have showcased some lasers with really good performance. But how to transfer this performance in terms of, okay, how to do it manufacturable somehow. And that is really what I mean by the manufacturability gap. I mean, the device can have excellent performance on paper, but this performance only becomes real value if the device can be tested, aligned, assembled in a stable and repeatable way. And just to be clear, this does not mean that every process needs 1 nanometer accuracy, but more and more critical steps need stable, repeatable, and automated ready alignment. And that is exactly the angle I would like to focus on today. And let's dig in with our company profile. So before showcasing the applications, I want to quickly introduce Smaragd. So we are based in Oldenburg in Germany. It's in the northern part of Germany. We have over 350 employees actually, and Smaragd consists of 3 independent companies. So one is motion, metrology, and automation. And I think motion is probably the part many people know us from. So here in motion, we deal with nanometer precision positioning tools. So we provide stages, systems, hexapod-like systems, and so on to make these motion applications possible actually. Then we have metrology. Metrology adds the measurement side with tools such interferometers, encoders, and photonic testing solutions, for example. And then last but not least, we have also automation. So process execution, handling, and system integration is done here. And what I am personally really excited about is that since April, we also have a completely new software platform, so a completely new infrastructure. We call it Scope. And I want to showcase today how powerful this platform is. Because it not only enables the processing of Smaragd tools, but it also allows access from the outside world. So integrating third-party components like vision, like sensors, lasers, DAQ, and others. So the possibilities are endless. Yeah, and this enables basically the end users that they can build up application-specific workflows, for example, around their own processes. Instead of working with isolated hardware, somehow mix everything together, have something like, I don't know, a R&D like environment, and everything looks messy. This yeah, I mean, this is exactly where Scope bridges the gap somehow. And the key message is Smaragd is not only a motion supplier, we provide a modular ecosystem for precise, measurable, and scalable photonic manufacturing workflows. That is really what we are focusing at actually at the moment. Until there is one sentence I would like you to take away from this slide, it is this one. Motion moves, metrology measures, automation scales, and Scope connects. So after this overview, I want briefly introduce the basic application fields we are dealing with. So basically, there are two very important areas. On the left-hand side is the photonic testing, characterization, and on the right-hand side, it's the assembly itself. And on the test side, this can include wafer, die level, photonic testing, fiber area, optical probe alignment, and edge coupling setups, for example. And here the combination of precise motion measurement feedback is critical to get repeatable optical access. And on the other side, the assembly side, the same precision becomes relevant for active fiber to chip or laser to fiber alignment, pick and place of optical components, and scalable packaging workflows. I mean, Percipio also mentioned this topic, so I will go quickly through this. Here, I would like to take one step back and look at how these processes usually evolve, because from my point of view, it's really important to understand. So in many cases, the processes start not with a full machine, but more or less in an R&D environment. These setups can be manual, for example, or semi-automated. And at this stage, the global goal is usually not getting to high volume production, but more or less to understand the processes, to find out what actually works, to try around, to get the process somehow stable. And this is something we hear quite often from customers. Not everyone wants to buy a large, highly specialized machine for €500,000 and just to develop one single process step. So especially in the beginning, the platform has to be simple, adaptable, and most important, open. So really open access is truly the key here. And it should allow customers to build applications step by step, integrate the components they need, and modify the workflow as the process develops, for example. And this is the whole idea of the Scope platform. So Scope, it supports process development, but the validated routines and workflows can later be reused in a more automated production environment. And in summary, start simple, validate the process, reuse the workflow, and scale when needed. That's truly the message here. So let me come quick to one application. So I would like to show here sensor head assembly, for example. For me, it is a really good example of what we mean by process development. So the starting point is a requirement for a very stable optical setup. And in this kind of assembly process, even sub-microns deviations can have significant influence on the optical signal itself. And so before talk about automation or scaling, the first requirement is stability and repeatability of the alignment. And this slide shows the optical principle. So here the challenges is a 6 degree of freedom, free space alignment, and the relevant feedback signal, the measured optical intensity. And here you see how this was implemented on a tabletop setup, for example. And what I like about this example is that all Smaragd components and all technologies are involved in one system. So if you look on this machine, everything you can see here inside is from Smaragd. So we deal actually with piezo stick slip axes that are basically, yeah, this one you can see here at the bottom, for example, yeah, for compact nanometer positioning over useful travel range. These are really useful. Here on the top, we have electromagnetic dielectric drives, and these can be used where speed and robustness is really important and key. And for example, in gantry-like motion systems, like here, this linear stages just moves the tools, position the tools where you need it. And the key component is here the scanner technology, and it is used for dynamic fast alignment, for example. These cubes you can see here. And this process, for example, it starts with a first light search. You can see here. Here the system performs a coarse raster scan, for example, in Y and Z to find an initial signal, and identify the global maximum. That's basically the main starting point. And after that, the process can move into local refinement, and the scanner is used to keep the signal stable at the optimum and compensate small deviations dynamically. So that's the purpose of the scanners, basically. Yeah, and this is exactly where the software layer becomes really important, because with the scope, the user can build a process from individual building blocks, like you can see here. It's just like lab you can imagine. You have some examples, you can just plug them together, and then you can just evolve your process like ever you want. So for example, move, measure, scan, optimize, gluing can be inserted, curing can be inserted, and so on and so on. At the same time, it is not limited to a simple graphical workflow. So since scope is Python-based, advanced users, for example, can also go really deep into the code and customize the process logic when needed. And so the result is not only good alignment once, the result is a validated alignment routine you can later on transfer into your automated platform. Yes, and to close the technical part, I would like to come to the collaboration slide and also answer the famous epic questions. What can we do for the ecosystem, and what can the ecosystem do for us? Yes, I mean, I hope you saw throughout the presentation that from the Smaragd side, we can contribute precision, motion tools. We have really a modular technology stack and integration ready, building blocks basically. And this includes nano positioning, scanning, alignment, but also metrology and automation, and scope as the software layer, which sitting above. But to build the right tools, we need to stay close to the real applications. I think previous speakers has also mentioned it. Okay, give us the specifications, because we needed really to align our own roadmap and to develop the right tools for the ecosystem itself. I mean, for us, it's really important to understand where actually tools reach their limits, because we in Smaragd, we are always within projects which are really cutting edge. So where others say, okay, this is not feasible, we start doing the work there. So for example, we have, just to give you a brief example, developed a nano, how to say, a nano tool which can measure single nodes of a single chip in a sub-nano range. And this is truly amazing, because yes, it was believed that in such a device is not possible, but we do it, and we can hold the position stable for minutes within single nanometers, and this is really, really amazing. And I mean, the same is also true for validation. We struggled somehow to find realistic samples, wafers. What we're actually working on are tools to couple really in trenches on wafer level to find right wafers. It's hard for us. So if someone from the ecosystem can provide us with samples, then please get in contact. And we also are really open to partnerships to showcase some demonstrators together at different trade shows. So just get in contact, speak to us, and we will find some collaborative perspectives. And with this, I want to close my talk, and thanks a lot for the attention, and I'm looking forward to your questions and the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Max. So as mentioned, we have time for the final questions and comments today. And thank you very much for the really instructive presentation about all your capabilities. I have perhaps a question. How do you see the integration of your components with the automatization that proposed Percipio, for example?
Yeah, basically, what we try to do is to make everything controller based. So these algorithms you saw there on the slide, that are not somehow high level programmed on the software level, but on the controller. So it gives a really, yeah, I mean, access to speed issues. You know, where speed is really relevant, you can just buy the single smart components, insert them into the machine. Buy the scope software, integrate the scope software inside your machine. That is actually also possible, and then make everything happen. So that's the true message here.
Very good. And regarding all these the possibilities within manufacturing of lasers, where do you see that your platforms could be more effective, your solutions could be more effective, if you could focus in one or two?
Again, the last one was...
Yeah, regarding all the tasks that can be done in the manufacturing of semiconductor lasers, if you would select two, perhaps examples where your lasers will be perfectly fit, so where would you see the most efficient processes for your platforms?
Yeah, for our platforms where really precision comes into play. So if the alignment needs really sub-microns or even down to nanos, for example, the quantum application, these guys need, I don't know, efficiencies of less than 0.1 dB, for example. And here we can just bridge the gap.
Good. And how do you live with the vibrations and all other issues in the manufacturing facilities?
Yeah, basically the vibration issues are tackled together with us, but also in project manner with our customers together. So we are not experts basically on vibration, but we have some algorithms also inside the controllers, for example, correcting for drifts and so on. That is basically the approach here.
Okay, very good. Any question from the audience or any comment to Max? Well, if not, thank you again, and thank you for being the last speaker this afternoon. That is always a tough task.
Yes, thank you very much.
All your capabilities, and you show in the screen probably also one slide with our questions from every online meeting that help us to orientate a little bit or change. Be sure what do you think about the meeting. So it would be great if you can answer this poll and give us your thoughts, and it will help us to be better in the future. And I think we can close the meeting. We're a little bit over time, but it was very interesting to hear the different approaches, the different technologies as well. That was my objective, to talk about positioning, automation, the adhesives, the coatings that we had at the beginning, the point of view of what's happening in laser manufacturers. So I think we covered the topics that I had in mind. But yeah, I'm looking forward also for your thoughts, and thank you for being here this afternoon. I think we have this online meeting on product releases next week, but this will be the last online technology meeting as itself before summer holidays. So I wish you a great holidays, and I hope to see most of you in September back in our events on site and online. And thank you again, and have a good rest of the day. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Good afternoon. Bye, ciao. Thank you. Thank you.